How you doing? My name's Cusano. I'm from Connecticut, Plainville, Connecticut. I own a company called Motor Cars Incorporated, and I was invited to come down here for the mini weekend. It's my first time, and it's unbelievable. Grassroots Motorsports, great hosts, and a lot of really fun people, a lot of knowledge around here, and you just try to absorb as much as you can. So many people are into English cars, and it's just fantastic. I brought my car, I trailered it down, about 1,000 miles. It's well worth it. A couple things I wanted to get done this weekend. One was to see the Group 44 cars, which are just phenomenal, and I understand they brought some over from England. I got to meet Bob Tullius and Mike Dale, which is an incredible thing. And I got Bob Tullius to sign my fuel cell, which I'm sure will be something I'll treasure for a really long time. I've been an XJS fan my whole life. And this car that I brought here is a car that I built to slalom with. My company does primarily E-type work, and I work on E-types all day, and the XJS is just a little bit different. Tried to keep it a low buck thing. Turned out to be a lot of fun and very successful. So I'm just really glad to be here this weekend.
Tell us a little bit about the prep of the car.
The car is 85 XJS 3.6 liter 5-speed. I believe they made it about 500 or 600 of them originally, and they weren't intended to come to the United States originally, but a lot of people brought them over on the exemption, and they had it in the late 80s and registered. This car was from Texas, and it was bought off eBay. I looked for something that I could turn into a slalom car originally, and I've been slaloming this car for 4 years. It's light, and it's agile, and the things I've done to it were to lighten it as much as I can to try to keep all Jaguar. So whenever there's an option, if I can keep Jaguar parts on it, that's what I try to do.
So what's it weigh now?
It's just about 2,960 pounds. I took about 1,000 pounds out of the car, all kinds of tricks, replacing cast parts with aluminum. Everything I had to make, nobody makes things for this car, like the aluminum drive shaft and the suspension components I had to make myself. It's very difficult to do because there's no roadmap. Nobody really races XJSs since Bob Tullius, and that was a whole different program for sure. So trying to use stock components. Is basically a stock AJ6 motor. We modified the intake manifold. I had to make the exhaust from scratch. We mapped the computer without knowing what it would really work, so we had to do a lot of exploration in that field, but it turned out to be a real quick car. It's not a high horsepower car, probably about 315 horsepower, about 300 foot-pounds of torque, but we're running it through a really small track transmission, try to keep all the friction down, and keep the weight down. Of course, it's the easiest way to make a car go fast. So you need a lot of horsepower. It runs great. I drove it on the road for almost 3 years, and just more recently it was just too much work to keep converting it back and forth from race to car, and race to street, and then slalom, and then road race. So finally, right now I think we're just going to road race it for a while. It's done really well in slalom. So you're going to see I might be changing it, putting a cage in it, making it a little safer. Sometimes you throw caution to the wind with safety, and I think I beat those odds for too long. And it's time to make the car more of a race car. Probably make it heavier, probably make it slower, but I'd be able to relax a little bit more.